Okay, so currently we have a validation message next to each field. Some people prefer to display the list of errors on top of the form as well. So in our customer form view, right at the beginning of the form, we can use html.validation summary. Save, back to the browser, refresh, continue. So the same error messages are displayed here as well. Now, interestingly, you see we have 3 error messages. ID, name, and membership type are required. But where is ID? Well, earlier I explained how membership type was implicitly marked as required. The same story applies to the customer ID. So let's inspect this button. I put a hidden field just above this button. This hidden field is for our customer ID. Now look at the value. We don't have a value. So when this form is posted, the value of customer ID will be an empty string. And MVC framework doesn't know how to translate an empty string to an integer, which is the type of customer ID. So to fix this, we go back to our customers controller in the new action. Look, here in the view model, we have initialized membership types, but not the customer. And by default, it's null. So we set customer to a new customer. Now, when we create this new customer, its properties will be initialized to their default values. So customer ID, because it's an integer, will be initialized to 0. And then when the hidden field is rendered, it will have a value. And this way, the error will be gone. So let's build. Back to the browser. We need to go to customers/new. So the hidden field is rendered again. Now, if I click save, we don't get the error for the ID field anymore. So this is validation summary. Now, instead of displaying individual property errors here, we can go back to our form. The first argument to validation summary method is a Boolean called exclude property errors. So if we pass true here, individual property errors will be excluded from validation summary. And then we can supply an error message like, please fix the following errors. Save, back to the browser, refresh. So that's a different approach. Now currently this error is black, but you can simply define a CSS class in site.css similar to how we made these individual errors red. So you inspect it, find the class, and add it in site.css. But I'm going to leave it for now. Now, one more thing before we finish this lecture. In terms of usability, I'm not quite happy with the order of these fields. Because name and membership type are both required fields. But date of birth is optional unless the user selects a membership type other than pay as you go. So whether the date of birth is required or not is dependent on the value of membership type. And I believe it's more logical to put membership type first because this creates a better and more logical flow in the form. So back in the view, here's membership type. I'm going to select this, cut, and put it before birth date. Save. Back to the browser, refresh. Okay, I think it looks better now. Next, we're going to look at client-side validation.